Buddha.
Right. Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another Saneter TV House of Consciousness production. You already know what it is. I am your host for this evening, and I'm not gonna be long. I'm not gonna be long at all. For those of y'all who didn't catch the stream yesterday with brother Black Jesus Minister and brother Sanchez, brother Polight called in last night to challenge brother Sanchez. Right after the show, Polight called me. So brother Polight wants to get back in the ring, and he wants Sanchez to be on the chopping block. And so for those of y'all who missed it, I'm gonna play it for you, and then we're gonna deal with brother Polight and Sanchez and see what y'all want. If y'all want that, I can give it to you. All right. If y'all want that smoke, y'all want that fire. Sanchez said he's willing to do it. He's willing to get in the ring with a bigger fish. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Brother Polight.
All right. What's going on, Polight, man?
I'm chilling, man. I got some questions. One of the questions I had is, are the other planets flat, or are any other planets flat, or is it just Earth within the solar system?
What I'm saying, when we look in the sky, we're seeing like Venus and Mars. That's the sun and moon to the next plane. But these are plane nets. Plane net is a plane enclosed in a net.
Okay.
All right. Brother Polight, you still there?
Yeah, my goal is to debate. I actually was just curious about the information, and I know that this is Black Jesus and Sanchez discussion, so I didn't want to undermine the conversation.
Right.
I'm more curious than I am an antagonist, because before I can antagonize, I have to first learn. So I'm just curious, you know what I'm saying? Because I never really gave it too much attention, but I know he's one of the people that's like highly revered in terms of the argument. So I'm honored to be able to ask him, as he's one of the, I would say, pioneers in the movement in the Black community, as far as I believe, to the flat Earth. So I'm just curious. I would suppose gravity would have to be an illusion as well, correct? Like you couldn't believe gravity exists if the Earth is flat, correct? Or can you believe in gravity?
Well, it ain't that I think gravity is an illusion. I think it's just what they call it, a theory.
D equals M over V, or density equals mass over volume. So how would that make sense in retrospect to gravity being a theory as opposed to an actuality?
That's why I'm showing and proving, because the scientific method is about observation. It's scientists right now that has an equation for some of the most abominable things. Why? Because in a mathematical equation is just a mathematical way of supporting a theory, and numbers can lie.
When we use the word theory, there's a distinction to be made amongst theory and then scientific theory. So the theory I believe you're talking about is the general sense of the meaning, and that's when, we're not sure. There's implications, there's intimations we would like to believe, things kind of suggest or allude to, and that's just a general theory. But then scientific theory is actually something that's actually tried and proven over and over, and yet to be proven wrong. And that's scientific theory. So scientific theory gets tried and proven over and over and over and over and over and over. But the other theory is the one that's more like a hypothesis or educated guess. So I think that's where this gets a little convoluted, because I'm more focusing on, if we are going to talk about theory, I'm more leaning on the scientific theory that's going through the protocols for observation. So that way we're not led astray. Not to digress, but just to address somebody in the chat who says, basically, if it's proven, then it's not a theory. So what am I talking about? So the word theory, as most of you guys know it, you know it alludes to something that's not definitive. It alludes to just speculation and the unknown. But when you talk about scientific theory, the word takes on a different connotation. You can't let the word theory throw you off, because now we're prefixing scientific theory to it, and then you got to go into the etymology of the word theory, which simply means to observe or to speculate. So based on speculation, we are now being impelled to conduct the scientific method. And when the scientific method is employed, then we're able to accumulate enough results so we're not just dealing with belief, so we can definitively conclude that this thing checks out. So don't let the word throw you off, because the problem is you're not aware of the many facets or different genres and how a word can be used and change. Or
let me say something real quick, y'all. Let me say something to you real quick. Let me look at y'all so y'all can look me in my eyes. Every day, you got a no good, filthy, dirty ass nigga in France. Every day, make slandered videos about Saneter being a child molester, right? Every day. This goes on every day. This nigga want my peanuts in his mouth, but he can't get that because I don't get down like that, okay? So every day, you got a filthy ass French nigga that call y'all monkeys over here. He call y'all monkeys. Y'all don't say one word about it. Don't you fucking dare talk to me about I'm letting Polight on. Polight has not been found guilty. Totally different. So don't none of you niggas say one fucking word about who I allow on my platform. When none of you niggas say a goddamn thing about this motherfucking French nigga over there every fucking day talking about Saneter and the house of pedophiles. All right? So don't come over here with that bullshit, nigga. I let who the fuck I want on my shit. Understand that. I know I'm not no goddamn pedophile. I know that for sure. But y'all niggas don't say a goddamn thing about it. And so in that sense, leave me the fuck alone. Get off my shit. I play who the fuck I want to play. If the brother called in, he called in. All right? Show the same goddamn hate for niggas that slander my name. That nigga want my peanuts in his mouth so goddamn bad. Every day, who talks about another man every day? The French nigga was begging for me to let him on my program so we can make some money so he can show his metal nature and teach his metal nature. Huh? Because I turned the nigga down, he went on a smear campaign. See, that's what y'all don't know. That's what y'all don't know. And I dare him to come here and say I'm lying. I bet you he won't say I'm lying. Go and ask him. Two weeks ago, nigga, you was begging to come on my channel and make $1 that charge people to come into your class. How many of y'all heard him say that? How many of y'all know that? He wanted to come on my channel, a French nigga over there, and he was begging me to allow him to come on my channel so that I can charge people to learn the metal nature. Did y'all know that? Huh? And because I didn't accept that, I was like, nah, I don't want that shit. I already knew the nigga was fake. And so because I turned him down, didn't answer him. By me not answering him, it's turning him down. And the nigga would ask me every day, yo, Saneter, did you see I text you? I want to know if we can do this. Did y'all know that? Y'all didn't know that. But because I never answered them, because I ain't want that garbage on my channel, huh? That nigga got mad and started, he even brought up the goddamn video I did when I talked about how the doctor tried to say I had AIDS. All y'all got to do is go and look at my original video on my channel. Don't look at a cut up video with them cutting it up. That nigga slandered again. I'm looking at his comment and he said, didn't Saneter said that they diagnosed him with AIDS? If I said that, prove it.
All right, peace and black power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Shy, remember you went to 4 hospitals diagnosed with AIDS?
Yeah, I remember that. What else you got, brother? What else
yeah, man, because you said Israel doctrina's health problem was from the Most High. So
now,
what's the reason you
watch
sick?
Watch you run like a bitch.
No, I'm not going to run. Okay, I want to know what's the reason.
So prove to the people, because the Most High said prove all things. Prove to the people that I went to the hospital with AIDS. Go ahead. I'm going to let you talk.
I went to like 4 hospitals. And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS. Go ahead, bitch.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna talk.
Bitch, go ahead, bitch, because you said it. So now the people gonna see that you full of shit, nigga. So prove it.
I did something 8 years ago, and if y'all seen me outside when I was on the street, I was weighing this real talk, family. Brother Sutek could tell you.
In hospitals and was diagnosed with AIDS.
All right, so prove it to the people. Don't talk about it.
Let
prove.
Me play the video. Let me play the video.
Go ahead, play the video. Go ahead, play the video.
Now, hold on, bitch. Then wait, bitch.
I was weighing in about $1.30. Think about that.
Get the fuck up out of here. Nigga, you ain't got no proof, nigga, that I went to the hospital and they all told me I had AIDS.
I went to like 4 hospitals, and the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS.
You's a lying pussy. So get out of here with that bitch shit, nigga. You a liar.
I'm on 125th Street, and I'm sick, and I'm about to die. I went to like 4 hospitals.
You ain't learned the lessons what the Most High was trying to save you. He's sending your stupid ass a message.
I'm weighing in at 130 pounds, walking the street like a crackhead.
Show them that I said I've had AIDS.
And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS.
Show it to them, nigga.
And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS.
Show it to them.
AIDS. One day I'm gonna tell y'all my story. And I kept it to myself.
coming in here lying and calling in.
I went to like 4 hospitals.
You told me.
And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS. AIDS.
Nigga, if you got facts, if you got proof, bring it to the people.
Sutek is the only brother that walked up to me and said, "Son, you don't look good, brother. AIDS, you're not looking good." This is 8 years ago. I'm on 125th Street, weighing and all my clothes was too big for me. They was falling off me. I had to tie it, make another knot to pull it. And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS. AIDS.
Didn't the Most High send you a message, nigga?
I went to like 4 hospitals. I was on my last leg, and that's when Sutek told me, "Son, you gotta go to the hospital, brother."
Didn't the Most High try to send you a message? And you still carrying on like a fucking asshole. I see you don't respect what the Most High did. Did the Most High give you AIDS for being a wicked ass nigga? Yes or no?
I went to like 4 hospitals.
Yeah, the Most High did that.
And the hospitals was telling me
the Most High did this,
that I had AIDS.
The Most High killed him because he was wicked.
I went to another doctor, a specialist in AIDS.
You're gonna live up to the laws and commandments and statutes of the commandments of the Most High. He's sending you a warning. Why are you going at God's people?
He was a damn homo. It was a homo damn doctor.
So you ain't learned from the warning.
Damn. It was a homosexual doctor.
Oh, the Most High gonna get you?
Wow. Ain't that some shit?
The Most High gonna kill you?
He said, "Son, you gotta go to the hospital, brother. You're not looking good. You look bad."
Oh, the Most High killed him because he's wicked.
You look fucked up. That's how I was looking. And I finally took Sutek advice and went to the hospital.
Yeah, the Most High killed that nigga.
When that damn doctor told me I had AIDS,
the Most High got rid of that wicked nigga.
Man.
But the Most High done gave you a fucking warning.
I could get a cold. If anybody got a cold, I gotta walk away from them and move away.
And you still up here acting like a goddamn asshole, running around disrespecting people.
And I'm sick. And I'm about to die.
Yeah, the Most High did that.
I went to like 4 hospitals.
The Most High did this.
And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS.
Yeah, the Most High did that.
So I started feeling all of that. And I was like, damn, yeah, I do have them symptoms. Next thing you know,
the Most High killed him because he was wicked.
I'm weighing in at 130 pounds, walking the street like a crackhead.
Hey, son, remember you went to 4 hospitals diagnosed with AIDS?
Yeah, I remember that. What else you got, bro?
I went to like 4 hospitals.
Prove to the people that I went to the hospital with AIDS. Go ahead.
And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS.
Yeah, the Most High did that.
He knew he was the best that ever did it. This doctor was the best. I recommended him to a friend of mine not too long ago. He was an expert in AIDS.
You ain't got no proof, nigga, that I went to the hospital and they all told me I had AIDS.
When that damn doctor told me I had AIDS,
the Most High did this.
AIDS.
Yeah, the Most High did that. So be careful. Because if you're not holding fast to the message and to the Lord's will, the Lord gonna get you. The Most High killed him because he was wicked.
Oh man, this shit is crazy, man.
Nigga, if you got facts, if you got proof, bring it to the people.
AIDS. But I went to another doctor.
Show them that I said I've had AIDS.
A specialist.
Show it to him, nigga.
In AIDS.
Show it to him.
I went to like 4 hospitals. And the hospitals was telling me that I had AIDS.
Yeah, the Most High did that.
AIDS.
Do you agree with that or not? And that's the problem with y'all. Y'all don't know how to keep it a buck.
And I'm sick.
Yeah, the Most High did that.
And I'm about to die.
The Most High killed him because he was wicked.
And I kept it to myself.
And they saying shit like, Saneter got AIDS. Yeah, the Most High did that. Saneter got AIDS. Yeah, the Most High killed that nigga. The Most High got rid of that wicked nigga. I'ma go to the hospital.
I went to like 4 hospitals.
I'm gonna get my tests.
And the hospitals was telling me
I'm gonna tell them that I need another copy because I know
that I had AIDS.
Yeah, the Most High did that. I misplaced it somewhere. I was looking for it.
AIDS.
I'm gonna go and get my test results.
And the hospitals was telling me,
and then I'm gonna bring it up and show it on live.
That I had AIDS.
Yeah, the Most High did that. I'll show it to the people.
That I had AIDS.
Yeah, the Most High did that.
Pull up the video, show the people that I'm lying, that I said that they diagnosed me with AIDS. Show the people, nigga. Because what I did say was I was looking so bad and I was so sick and they didn't know what I had. They didn't know what was in my bloodstream. And so the minute I went to the doctor, before they even checked me, before they stuck needles in my arm to find out what was wrong with me, when they was looking, they just automatically looked at me and said, you got AIDS. That's what I said, they said, nigga. Quote me right if you're gonna quote me. And so when they did that, thank God, thank the spirit of the ancestors that I had a type of knowledge in me to go and get 3 or 4 or different ones' opinions. And so what did I do? My wife called me and kicked in, said, baby, we're gonna go over here to an AIDS specialist because the doctors didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. They seen something in my blood. And so when we went to the AIDS specialist, the dude came back, the doctor, and said, hey, does anybody in your family have lupus? And I was like, lupus? Nah. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh shit, my sister passed away from lupus. I said, yeah. He said, that's what you got in your bloodstream. You have lupus, sir. And I was like, what the fuck, lupus? And so why did they say I got it? Why would they automatically think or assume it could be AIDS?
Well, we've learned a lot during this pandemic about who's more at risk for severe COVID-19 or death from the virus, but there are millions of people with autoimmune diseases who know they need to be extra careful and to get all of their vaccinations.
Yeah, but did you know that if you have an autoimmune disease like lupus, for example, you could falsely test positive on a COVID test? One Metro Atlanta woman had no idea this was a thing until she got stranded in another country.
And I was told, ma'am, you actually tested positive. And I was shocked.
And just like that, a sun-soaked, relaxing vacation with the family in Mexico ends in a tidal wave of disappointment. Jeanette McWilliams testing positive for COVID at the airport in Cancun, just 2 hours before her flight.
And we were all kind of go, what do we do? So I was like, well, can you please test me again? They tested me again. We waited another 25 minutes, and again, the test was positive.
The rapid test results just didn't add up. But now she had no choice but to stay in the country. Her husband and 2 young children boarding the flight back to Atlanta without her, days before the new year. Were you scared at any point during all of this?
Sure, absolutely I was scared, and there was really no resources for me within the airport.
With help from a couple of friends in the US and an airline worker, she was able to find a hotel and transportation, then got to work researching false positives on the internet. Jeanette suspected her lupus might be to blame.
I found an article in the FDA that said that, there are false positives linked to autoimmune diseases, and it's called the rheumatoid factor. And lupus, part of the symptom is rheumatoid arthritis. So I'm like, rheumatoid lupus antibodies.
We tracked down that FDA letter from 2020 to healthcare providers. It warns that interference from human antibodies like rheumatoid factor increases the risk for a false positive with antigen tests. Piedmont's COVID Task Force Chief Dr. Jane Morgan says it can happen with a PCR as well.
When you have these positive factors, your risk of having a false positive COVID test are higher for rheumatoid factor positive people than people with ANA, that anti-nuclear antibody. And additionally, it also depends on the concentration of autoantibodies in your system.
5 tests later, 2 extra days spent in Mexico, Jeanette finally tested negative and was able to book another flight with a different airline and head back home. The whole ordeal costing her about $2,000. How did you know that this rapid test would be different from the one that you took at the airport?
I didn't. I just wouldn't stop testing until I found the result that I know is true.
Yeah, she tested a lot, and Jeanette tells me she's now turned off from flying internationally while under these testing restrictions. But Dr. Morgan says the chances of this happening to you are rare. So if you are concerned, she says stop by your rheumatologist and get what's called a urea dissociation test, and that test will tell you if you're rheumatoid factor positive or anti-nuclear antibody positive and more likely to falsely test positive on a COVID test. Jeanette was just able to confirm with her doctor's office that she is in fact RF positive.
RN.com, and in this review, I'm going to talk about systemic lupus erythematosus. And as always, whenever you get done watching this YouTube video, you can access the free quiz that will test you on this content. So let's get started. Systemic lupus erythematosus, also known as lupus or SLE, is an autoimmune condition that causes inflammation that targets organs, tissues, and joints. And this inflammation can actually be so severe that it can permanently damage these structures. Now, where are these autoimmune attacks occurring? Where is the body actually turning on itself and causing this severe inflammation? Well, it tends to affect these structures right here, and it varies among patients. Some patients will have these areas affected, while others may have these areas affected. But you can look at the patient's signs and symptoms, and that may give you clues about which area of the body is being affected by lupus, and how they're affected can be mild to severe. So the joints can be affected along with the skin, the lungs, the heart, kidneys, brain, and blood system. So with lupus, this is a chronic condition, and patients will experience flare-ups where they have signs and symptoms presenting to periods of remission where they are sign and symptom free, which makes it a little bit difficult to diagnose. So it takes a lot of investigative work by the physician, in that the physician has to look at the patient's family history along with the patient's health history, their presenting signs and symptoms, and certain laboratory results to actually diagnose this condition. And this condition currently does not have a cure, but there are many treatments available to actually help improve the patient's quality of life, decrease their episodes of flare-ups, and help maintain remission. Furthermore, there are different types of lupus, with SLE being the most common form. It tends to affect women more than men, specifically Black, Latina, and Asian women who are in their childbearing years. Therefore, they think that hormones may play a role with the onset of this chronic disease due to the fact that it starts whenever menstruation begins, and it gets worse during pregnancy and during that postpartum period. Also, other risk factors is a genetic factor, so a family history, along with environmental causes like too much sun exposure or exposure to a certain infectious disease or medications. Now let's talk about the pathophysiology for how lupus is occurring in the body. Well, it all starts with a cell, and we're specifically talking about how the cell undergoes death, so how the cell is supposed to die. And a fancy term for this whole process is called apoptosis. So let's take a closer look at the structure of the cell. The cell consists of many parts. It has a cell wall on the outside, and on the inside it has many important structures, with one of these structures being the nucleus. The nucleus stores chromosomes with our DNA and plays an important role with synthesis of proteins and ribosomes. Now, our body expects our cells to be healthy, and if our cells become unhealthy, they know it's time to die, because if they decide to stick around, they can become cancerous and they can grow and multiply and eventually kill us. So the cell sacrifices itself for the greater good of all the other cells, and it undergoes apoptosis. It knows it has to die. And again, it has to go through this process very specifically. So the cell, what it's going to do whenever it's unhappy, as our cell is up here, it's going to shrink down in size, and that outer membrane is going to start to lose its integrity and bleb out, and then the inside material is going to start to break down, like the nucleus and other things. Now, during this whole process, it's sending out like a chemical signal to other members of the immune system, such as the macrophages. The role of the macrophage is to come and ingest and engulf things that need to be cleaned up. That's its job. So once they start to arrive, what's going to happen to this cell is it's going to start to shatter into these tiny pieces called apoptotic bodies. And this macrophage, what it's going to do, it's going to go and eat those bodies right up, and then our process is complete, it's done with. Now, the problem they think with lupus is this phagocytosis is ineffective. Either this macrophage is taking too long to consume these apoptotic bodies, or they're not really consuming them at all. So these tiny fragmented pieces, which have parts of our cell in it, are hanging out in the body, and they can't do that too long until they start to leak. So they leak and spill their contents inside the body. Well, we have an immune system that's constantly on alert, on surveillance. So whenever it sees the leakage of this material from these apoptotic bodies, it's like, uh-oh, we have nuclear antigens, foreign invaders. So the immune system goes and forms anti-nuclear antibodies. And I want you to remember that, because there's a test for lupus where we're going to test them for an ANA, and it'll be positive in lupus. So that's where that's coming from. So once these antibodies are formed, it attacks these antigens. We get an immune complex there in our body. This immune complex is going to float around in the body, and it can go and collect in these systems of the body. So once these immune system complexes are in these structures, the body's like, hey, what is this? We don't like this. We need some more inflammation so we can get rid of these things. So what it does is it helps activate the complement cascade. That system helps promote, hence complement, our immune system. So you get proteins that help with this, like C3 and C4, and we get some inflammation there. Now, the body thinks it's helping because it's attacking this immune complex, but in reality, it's really attacking our own cells, specifically the material inside our cells. So If this inflammation is severe enough and it keeps happening over and over, it will eventually permanently damage these structures. Now let's talk about the signs and symptoms of lupus. What could you expect to see in a patient who has lupus as a nurse? Well, again, remember, it's going to vary among patients because it depends on where these immune complexes have decided to congregate and cause that inflammation. So we're going to start from head to toe. First, let's look at the eyes. Lupus can affect the eyes, causing them to become inflamed, so they'll present as dry and red. And the mouth can be affected where the patient has the development of ulcers. It can also affect the brain, hence the mental part of your patient. A lot of patients, a big sign and symptom is fatigue. They feel extremely tired. They can also have memory loss, they can have psychosis, they can even have seizures, and a lot of them will start to have fevers as well. Also, the skin and hair can be affected. They will have photosensitivity, meaning the sunlight can actually activate or trigger their signs and symptoms, hence cause a flare. So they can have rashes on the skin. One rash is known as the butterfly rash. The proper term for that is malar rash. They can also have a rash called a discoid rash, and discoid means disc shape, so they're round, and they tend to be on areas of the skin that are exposed to sun. In addition, patients can have alopecia where they actually lose their hair. The heart can also be affected, and this is where you're having this inflammation on this heart muscle. It can weaken the muscle, causing heart failure. The patient can also feel chest pain where it's affecting the lining that surrounds the heart, causing pericarditis. And even the valves inside the heart that open and close, which allow blood to flow through, the lining of that can become inflamed, so you can hear heart murmurs. In addition, some patients can have lung issues where the outside lining that surrounds the lungs becomes inflamed, so they can have chest pain with that. Also, they can develop infections like pneumonia or pleuritis. The kidneys can also become affected where they just become really inflamed. And some patients can experience what's called lupus nephritis. And this is where that functional unit of the kidneys called the nephrons, this is where all of your filtering of the blood takes place with electrolytes, waste, etc., can become affected. So you can start to see protein in the urine, which will lead the patient to start to retain fluid. They can also start to have an elevated blood pressure, hypertension, from where there's so much more fluid in the blood. And the patient may need dialysis or a transplant, so it can lead to renal failure. In addition, the blood system can be affected, and we can have immune complexes, and there's a risk for infection with patients with lupus. And this can be from treatment suppressing the immune system and just the inability to effectively clear those foreign invaders due to ineffectiveness of the phagocytosis and removing those invaders. So it's important that the patient stays up to date with their vaccines, but they want to avoid those live vaccines because treatments again further complicate their immune system, suppressing it, and just how the disease process is in itself, it can increase their risk of developing an infection. Also, blood clots can develop, and patients can actually develop a condition called antiphospholipid syndrome. And this is where the immune system is causing the body to clot more. So blood clots can occur due to antibodies against blood cells, platelets, red blood cells, and the white blood cells can also be affected. And this is where you can start to see anemia. The joints and muscles can also be affected. A lot of patients will talk about how they have swollen joints. They will be very painful, and it'll be like arthritis type pain. In addition, they can start to have something called Raynaud's syndrome, where they will have bluish or pale fingers and toes whenever they're exposed to cold. And in women who are in childbearing years, the uterus can be affected because there's an increased risk of clotting. So flare-ups can happen leading to blood clotting during pregnancy and during the postpartum period due to the fluctuation of hormones. So it's important that the patient, if they want to get pregnant, plans it in advance. And most patients need to have their disease in remission for at least 6 months in order to prevent a flare during pregnancy. Now let's talk about the nurse's role for a patient who has lupus. How do we care for them? Well, we've already learned that lupus can affect any system of the body. So our care really needs to be tailored to whatever system is being affected by lupus, and it can really vary among patients. So one complication that can happen is like lupus nephritis, and we know nephritis means kidney inflammation. So our nursing care really needs to be focusing on those kidneys. How can we do that? Well, more than likely the physician's going to order some labs to monitor kidney function, and it's our job to look at those labs and report abnormalities. So we can look at the BUN and creatinine. This will be elevated if we're having renal insufficiency. Also, you can check the urine for protein because there should not be protein in the urine. That tells us the nephrons of our kidneys are slipping up in that they're allowing protein to go into the kidneys and the patient's urinating that out. So they'll have proteinuria. Also, we need to look at the patient's urinary output, collecting that urine every time they void and measuring that out because we want to make sure they're at least putting out 30 cc's per hour in a 24-hour period. Also, we can weigh them, put them on a scale, and measure that daily. Are they retaining fluid? If they are, if they're elevating in their weights, that tells us they are gaining weight. That means they're probably keeping fluid because kidneys help us maintain our fluid balance. So you want to look for signs of heart failure like pulmonary edema or swelling in those lower legs as your patient having shortness of breath, etc. But let's say your patient's having joint issues because of their lupus. Well, we want to help them manage that joint pain with medications that are ordered by the physician. In addition, we want to preserve their joint mobility by helping them use techniques that do that, maybe consulting physical therapy to help the patient, and educating them about the importance of exercise to maintain joint stability. Now, the nurse also plays a huge role with educating. So we're going to educate the patient about this whole disease process, help them get a better understanding, because whenever patients understand their disease, they can understand how to take care of themselves better. Also, teach them about medications, because medications are going to be a big vehicle used to treat a patient with lupus because it helps them manage their disease. Let's remember the word flare. F is for fatigue, L is for low-grade fever, A is for achy joints, R is for rashes, and then E is for edema, swelling in the legs and the hands.
Let me tell you why. Because lupus is an autoimmune disease. It attacks your immune system. If you don't take care of it, it will kill your ass. My niece is in the hospital damn near every other day. I don't have it as bad as her. One of the things I don't do is take the damn medicine.
Take the damn medicine.
If you don't take care of it, it will kill your ass.
If you don't take care of it, it will kill your ass. Because lupus is an autoimmune disease.
It attacks your immune system. My wife gets on me all the time about, yo, you better take your medicine, take the medicine. I'm conscious of that, and I'm like, nah, that's the shit that's killing me. She's right here. If I'm lying, she'll tell you right now that I'm not lying. She always used to beg me, oh, take this, take that prednisone, take this here, and take the antibiotics. And I'm like, nah, baby, nah, because I'm aware of this shit. I'm like, nah, that's the shit that's killing you. And so why did I came out and made the video? Everybody missed the teaching. Because why? They just wanted to make a video saying, saying, oh, he got AIDS. That's what they made. And everybody missed the message. What I was trying to tell the people is be careful, because lupus is an autoimmune disease. It attacks your immune system. When these doctors come out and accuse you of having a disease, don't go by their first opinion.
When these doctors come out and accuse you of having a disease, don't go by their first opinion.
When these doctors come out and accuse you of having a disease, don't go by their first opinion.
Go to another doctor. What's the first thing we do, family? Huh? What's the first thing that we do if the doctor was to come to you and say, yo, miss, you got AIDS? What's the first thing we do? We get so scared that the doctor gives us all kind of prescriptions and gives us the medication. And we end up taking a goddamn medication thinking that you got AIDS and you don't have that shit. And it is the medicine that kills your ass. Check. That's the reason and purpose of me coming out telling my story. But y'all want to make a clown joke out of every fucking thing. You missed the message. Can you imagine how many people probably died, didn't have that shit, but the medicine killed them? It happens all the time, y'all. But y'all want to make a game and a joke and slander people and think this shit is a joke. See, I'm in the process of trying to save my people. Y'all in the process of making jokes and being clowns with this shit. You know, you did it so much where I didn't even want to prove myself to you niggas. But my wife was like, baby, you know what? Just go to the hospital and take the AIDS test. And sure enough, that's what I did. That's why I'm not here to please none of you motherfuckers. I'm talking about the trolls. I'm not talking about the people that's really about the information. You know who I'm talking about when I say that. I'm not here to prove nothing to these niggas. I met my wife when she was 14 years old. My wife, Cynthia, that's here right now. And I was 16 years old. Check. She was 14 years old and I was 15 years old. We was always 2 years apart.
Check. She was 14 years old and I was 15 years old. We was always 2 years apart.
I met my wife when she was 14 years old. My wife, Cynthia, that's here right now. And I was 16 years old. Check. She was 14 years old and I was 15 years old. We was always 2 years apart.
But guess what? I'll be 60 going on April. She'll be 58 next year. We still together. We still like this. From 14 years old. Think about that. How many of you can say that shit? Huh? She's here right now. She can tell you everything I'm telling you is 100% correct. Oh, Saneter in the house of rapists and the house love this and the house love that, worrying about a man who was 17 years old and his girlfriend was 15 years old. The mighty Hebrew didn't rape the 15-year-old girl, and they had mutual sex. It wasn't no goddamn rape. You know what they did? Let me tell you what they did. They waited, because that's how these crackers are. They waited until the mighty Hebrew turned 18. When he turned 18, she was about to turn, 16. And that's when they grabbed him. The minute he turned 18, they said, yeah, we got him, and grabbed him. Y'all seen the sister that got up here and said, yo, they tried to get her son like that. They tried to get her son damn near the same way. Luckily for me, my mother-in-law was the most beautiful, sweetest, loving woman, and she loved me. She loved me. So she wouldn't come out with no goddamn trumped up charges on me saying this and that, get him. No. She seen that me and her daughter was in love. We was in love, teenage love. It's a teenage love thing. Every day we was together. Wherever we went, we was together. You know, we did things teenagers do, movies, hanging out. Wherever we went, my baby was with me. See? So luckily for me, I didn't have one of them goddamn, mean mothers-in-laws. If you want to see my story, don't get it from them niggas, because they will chop it up and screw it. And guess what? They're going to only mislead you. And y'all sitting back, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Like I said, I wasn't going to be long. But sometimes you got to be strong. You understand what I'm saying? Because these clowns, they come a dime a dozen. Y'all seen me battle these niggas a dime a dozen. And I'm still here walking with my head up high. You don't see me walking like this. You don't see me scared to come on. You niggas that never make me run. I'm a stand here. I'm a fighter. This is why, see, a lot of the Hebrews, they laugh at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was so smart and intelligent. They did not treat their women like that.
You can't take 9 teenage women and seduce them.
My honest opinion of Elijah Muhammad is that he's a nasty old man. You understand what I'm saying? So
That's your true opinion of him?
Yeah, that's my true opinion of him. And
he's a nasty old man.
Yeah, I mean, like take this into account. Take this into account. Let's just say they wasn't underage.
Okay.
Let's say they were 18 and 19. So you groom them?
How old were they?
No, but that's the argument. Oh,
Okay.
they wasn't underage.
Okay,
So let's just say
got
they're
it.
19. Let's just say
Okay,
they're 19.
okay.
So you let them work for you from 15, 16, 17, and then 19, you just happen to say, oh, I like you.
No, they groomed him.
You can't take 9 teenage women and seduce them. You can't take 9 teenage women and seduce them.
When you come into the mosque, you got the woman sitting on the left or the right, either side, and the brother sitting on the left or the right, either side.
Is what?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
I seen him. I seen him myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
Because they did not mix the women with the men for a particular reason. Because they didn't want no distractions. They knew that that woman's fragrance and soft tone and the way she carries herself and conduct herself can easily take a brother off his path and sidetrack him. And he won't be paying attention, because when she walk by and that fragrance hits your nose, brothers, you're gonna turn your motherfucking head. Believe it or not. If you're a man, you're gonna turn your head and you got that wolf in you. All men have that wolf in them. We all have that wolf in us. What do you mean, Saneter, that wolf? You know, it's just something that's in you naturally. It comes naturally, you know? It's there. You're gonna have that wolf. You can't let a woman walk by you and not turn your head, especially when she leave that aroma in the summertime and she walk by and that wind blows and you be like, take a deep inhale and you got the luck, because you know that shit is there. That's a fact, man. And if y'all say, nah, brother, I'm good, that don't happen to me, then you're just a punk. You're a liar. You're a chump. And I was telling my wife this the other night. Matter of fact, last night. I said, why do you think a lot of men get caught when they say cheating? I said, because they are out of their natural element. You're trying to do something that goes against your nature. What are you talking about? Your nature. Your nature is to be with more than one woman. That's your nature. That's your nature, black man. You can try to be with one all your life all you want, but your nature is calling you and say, yo, nigga, open the fuck up, man. Open up. That's why you hear a woman say what? What's the first thing a woman say to us? Oh, man gonna be a man. Oh, man is gonna be a dog. No, you're not gonna be a dog. You're just gonna be a man. And you're gonna live out your man nature and instincts. When we was left alone, we always dealt with it like that. And guess what? Our women respected that until we got to this Americanized stuff, this teaching, this Americanized craziness that's going on. This is why you find the words cheat. The white man came up with cheating. That wasn't a part of our culture, cheating. That shit was normal for us. And our women knew it. It is out of our nature. And our women have become so goddamn selfish. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Knowing that you outnumber us. Knowing that you got all these brothers locked up in jail. Knowing that these brothers turned, and they walking and they turn and they wrist broke. Knowing that some of the brothers got shot and they dead. And now the woman got to raise this child by herself. This 1 month old child by herself. And you sisters have become so damn selfish where you wouldn't want another man in that baby's life. Got to get back on track, black woman. See, we got to have that real goddamn talk. Because when you think about it, the first thing that comes to your mind is you thinking about sex.
The only thing that I regret in all of this is that two black groups have to fight and kill each other off. Elijah Muhammad could stop the whole thing tomorrow just by raising his hand. Really, he could. He could stop the whole thing by raising his hand. But he won't. He doesn't love black people. He doesn't even love his own followers. Proof of which they're killing each other. They killed one in the Bronx. They shot another one in the Bronx. They tried to get 6 of us Sunday morning. And the pattern has developed across the country. The man has gone insane. Absolutely out of his mind. Besides, you can't be 70 years old and surround yourself by a handful of 16, 17, 18-year-old girls and keep your right mind. You can't do it.
Oh, he just want to F her. He just want to lay with her. It's not just about that, man. It's about raising a damn family, man. Don't you get it? Don't you see it? What happened to you? I mean, you sisters out there who are Masons and Eastern Stars, you've been struck a blow to the head, which had rendered you dead, sister. That's a fact. That is a fact. What about Nepal? What about her? What about her? What that got to do with what I'm talking about? Some people can make it, some people can't. I'm not talking about Nepal. I'm talking about women in general. I'm talking about the black man and female relationship. And sometimes when the brother want to get with her, you brothers out there, shame on you, who got to sneak and go to the next woman's house. You're sneaking. You're a coward. You're a punk. Stand up, nigga. Talk to your woman. Talk to your wife. Let her know what's going on. Be honest, nigga. That's why I love my wife to this day. Man, Saneter. See right there? See right there? You know what I'm saying? They cheating just as much. I agree. I'm thinking, brother, and I'm like, I agree. But maybe it's something in us that they need more, that we lacking in, though we ain't giving them. Get y'all tickets. Don't wait till the last minute. I hope I left y'all with a good, serious message, man. And before you go out and do that, be honest. Be honest with your woman, man. Don't fuck up.
So from tonight on, there'll be a hot time in the old town with regret, with great regret. There's no organization in this country that could do more for the struggling black man than the Black Muslim movement if it wanted to. But it has gotten into the possession of a man who's become senile in his old age and perhaps doesn't realize it. And then he has surrounded himself by his children who are now in power and want nothing but luxury and security and comfort and will do anything to safeguard their own interests. So I feel responsible for having played a major role in developing a criminal organization. It was not a criminal organization at the outstart. It was an organization that had the power, the spiritual power, to reform the criminal.
All right. Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another Saneter TV, House of Consciousness production. And I'm not gonna be long. I'm not gonna be long at all. For those of y'all who didn't catch the stream yesterday with brother Black Jesus Minister and brother Sanchez, brother Polight called in last night to challenge brother Sanchez. Right after the show, Polight called me. So brother Polight wants to get back in the ring, and he wants Sanchez to be on the chopping block. Don't you fucking dare talk to me about I'm letting Polight on. Polight has not been found guilty. Totally different.
Give me a second, because there are, let me just announce something. There is a case that is on the calendar, page 11. Michael Nowak, and I know that there apparently are people who are shown up for him. This matter was continued. It was an agreed motion to continue. And so just to let everybody know, it's being continued and set for trial on May 1st of 2023. All right, so everybody who was here on the Michael Nowak case, it has been continued, agreed by both sides for May 1st, 2023 for trial.
Don't you fucking dare talk to me about I'm letting Polight on. Polight has not been found guilty. Totally different.
So I feel responsible for having played a major role in developing a criminal organization. It was not a criminal organization at the outstart. It was an organization that had the power, the spiritual power, to reform the criminal.
And then we're gonna deal with brother Polight and Sanchez and see what y'all want. If y'all want that, I can give it to you. All right? If y'all want that smoke, y'all want that fire, Sanchez said he's willing to do it. He's willing to get in the ring with a bigger fish.